not a doctor, but I play one on TV. I know the problem, you've got just one policy. You do the opposite of what the Donald does. Don't know what you believe just because you got that TDS. You've tested positive. There's nothing I can do for chronic low IQ. It's TDS. Open the borders, let Mamdani pick your pocket. Let the boys beat the girls, they got that extra rocket. A theology degree from Starbucks. You declare that America sucks. You got that TDS. You've tested positive. There's nothing I can do for chronic low IQ. It's TDS. If you're red, alright, let's get this party started. If you're left, you're blue and probably retarded. Like Rosie, De Niro, Jimmy Kimmel, Kathy Griffin. No kings, no kidding, we don't live in Great Britain. If J6 was the worst thing you've ever seen, Soros, burning Sadie's a mostly peaceful thing. Bring back the cartels, commute their crimes, sack the fact checkers like the New York Times. He's a Nazi, a fascist, a racist dictator who lets you say what you want to say.
Luke, I am your daddy.
You got that TDS. You tested positive. There's nothing I can do for chronic low IQ. It's TDS. No matter what he says, you must be really dumb, 'cause you keep blaming Trump for your problem.
Side effects of Trump derangement syndrome may include violent behavior, delusions, nightmares, insomnia, irrational hatred, hopelessness, anxiety, depression, blue hair, tantrums, inability to form coherent speech, difficulty maintaining gainful employment, and verbal diarrhea.
There's no cure in sight.
Hey guys, welcome to the program. I'm doing this as a special presentation. We just released a couple of books, immediately running up the charts, but one of them really deals with critical issues in our system and the war that's going on that you never hear about in the United States. There's a lot of propaganda, a lot of deep state involved and everything else. And of course, I'm talking about the book that I put out called The Three-Toed Dragon, Communist China's Secret War to End America, AI, and Data Centers. This is a war. Unfortunately, many times, if you don't follow other people who do interviews, or it might conflict with even my own program airing, you don't get to see it. And so what I'm doing is helping you see some of the things you might not see because you might not know who the influencer are. Let me just give you a little taste real quick of what I'm going to talk about.
Are data centers going to destroy America? Will data centers and artificial intelligence rob our water supplies? Will it drive up our energy costs? What's fact? What's fiction? Here's the truth no one talks about. America must win the AI data center war.
This is critical. Critical infrastructure, critical to our national security, critical to, will America still stand? So I decided to do this as a special presentation. I'm going to hop over, run it in its entirety. I'm going to hop over for you and share with you a long-form interview I just did about this new book, The Three-Toed Dragon. This appear on the John Fredericks Radio Network, right? I'm on with Killer Carl. Sometimes it's easier when other people are asking me the questions, I'm providing the answers. Let's get started.
Right? It's a propaganda war out there. That's exactly what it is. And let's welcome Jovan to the Killer Carl Radio Show. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, and I'm fine. And thank you for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Dude, you are one of, I got to tell you, you are one of the most brilliant people out there.
I just slept at a Holiday Inn last night. I have to reveal my secret. There's nothing special about me.
No, it's just the way you think about things. You had, I think it was like maybe 3 weeks ago, you had Mike Dillon on.
Yes.
From the Lindell network,
yes.
Right?
Yes, sir.
And we all see this, you scroll through social media, and I was scrolling through it this morning. And you see these people talking about the data centers. They got brown water coming out. They can't get a shower, but they don't show any evidence of it.
No,
there's no evidence of it. And you brought up a fact. Roy Singham, we call him Fat Roy here on the Killer Carl radio show. And the propaganda they push.
Right.
And if you wouldn't mind, just lay it out for me.
Sure.
Because
I got this email from a publicist that I known for a long time. Now, typically, I don't just do interviews on my program. It's got to be something really unique for me to interview somebody on my program. And it's got to be something I know, I trust, I believe in, I back them because, your audience sees them with you. So I'm not just taking interviews, etc. But I got this email saying, you really got to talk to this guy. And I think you would hit it off because he's an inventor too. And he's talking about data centers. And so I decided to look it up and I looked at the pitch. But in the pitch, what I saw was a pattern that everybody should recognize on certain things. And it's called keywording. Everybody that anybody bitched about, from George Soros to and he even put Netanyahu and Donald Trump and Elon Musk and Sergey Brin, all everybody that's anybody and anything in tech and in politics. And it's all doom and gloom coming to the end of the world. And so I pinged back the publicist and I said, I'll be happy to have him on if we can have a very frank discussion about exactly what is going on with data centers. Because I'd been sitting back watching everything going on in data centers, and there's a lot of doom scrolling and a lot of pitching and wringing hands, and it's going to be this and it's going to be that. And it just so happens that in the data industry, from a power standpoint, from a planning standpoint, and when you saw President Trump's State of the Union, when he specifically said, okay, but for the tech companies, we need you to get power sovereign. That means go off the grid. It's a simple flip. It's, you think of your house and you have a backup generator if the power goes down. It's a flipping of it. You've got to have sovereign power. And then if anything happens, the grid can take over for you momentarily. Well, what I never discussed out in the open, because I wasn't discussing yet, is I'm the guy doing the sovereign power plan. I'm the guy that's planning for the data centers. How do you do it? How do you have your own grid, control your own destiny, and not tax the American power grid? So I agreed to have him on. And we started talking through it. And I realized he knew nothing. Literally, it was just a list of complaints.
You could see that.
Of talking points. I admire him for coming on, and I admire him for seeing that, wow, I was wrong. I learned something here. Now that tells you that person is not running a con job, that yep. person really cares. But I saw that transformation in him. And of course, I knew under the radar, look, I'm already doing this book. I always have books in the works doing it. And I decided, we're at this point, we're seeing so much about data centers, and I'm seeing the same thing you're seeing. I can't take a shower anymore. There's chemicals, and it's making my male pigs grow milking teats, or, all kinds of ridiculous stuff. And I go, look, we have to address this, because what people don't understand is this is an issue of national security and war. And we are at war on this one with China. So I decided to write the book, The Three-Toed Dragon, and basically explain how America is at war with China over artificial intelligence and data centers. And what we've already done for 50 years is we've capitulated, given in ever before it happens. And that's how China kicks our butt. So I decided, let me show the whole thing. Let me explain how it works.
And it was absolutely brilliant the way you did it. The one thing I love about you is you always bring receipts.
Thank you, sir.
You don't just unfortunately, a lot of people, they'll get their talking points from social media with
Yes.
no hard evidence, right?
Right.
And the reality of it is we have to win. We have to win this AI war, and it makes perfect sense if you really think about it. The propaganda that's being pushed out there from China, by the way,
Right.
from China, they don't want us to win. Yeah, you revealed something that I think most people don't know, and to be honest, I didn't even realize this. China controls your phone, the chip
That's right.
in your phone. They can, you lay it out for me. The fact, because you do it so brilliantly.
What people have to understand, first off, you have to optically look at this over the course of the last 50 years. That's number one. China's very patient. Our society is trained, we want it in seconds, we want it now. So we are ineffective at thinking of the long game, and China only plays the long game. I'll give you a few. I talk about them in the book. Two of our most abundant resources in the United States of America are coal and natural gas. If you remember, we got to shut down coal plants. We can't have that. And they're polluting the water and they're polluting the skies, and it's horrible and horrible. We shut down our coal in the United States of America. What people don't realize is China was behind that. China has massive coal reserves. And if you don't believe me, you can look at, we have to agree to all these environmental things that they protest and whine about and snowflakes worry about. But you see, China does exactly the opposite because they don't care. Well, they're playing a long game. So they got us to shut down our coal. They got us to shut down our natural gas. They got us to shut down rare earth minerals. Now, rare earth minerals are actually what make everything we're doing right now could not happen. All of you watching on a desktop, all of you watching on a mobile phone, us going through Restream here, being in different parts of the country, all of that is possible at its elemental level by what's called rare earth minerals. Instead of thinking of mining for gold, for nuggets or veins, rare earth minerals is looking for flecks of pepper in a sandbox. But we have to have them to make all these devices work, or they'd be even hotter, or they'd melt faster. Well, China did a campaign here in the United States of America that basically say, if you mine for rare earth minerals, it's going to look like the Kimberley diamond mine in South Africa. They're going to dig up mountains. It's going to poison your animals. It's going to kill the environment. It's going to kill the one-eyed, one-horned, purple, pink, lesbian, lizard, toad, frog. It's going to kill it. Birds are going to drop from the sky. Your water's going to dissipate. Well, they did this with rare earth minerals. In our country, even though we have them, outlawed them. Now, as soon as a law is made, it's almost impossible to undo. Well, all this time, China knew what they were doing because we shipped our manufacturing overseas. They know what minerals they need. They just can't afford to have America compete. If we, the eagle, get a foothold over the dragon goes nuts. So the dragon is always about compromising us. But you got to understand how insidious this is. The fact that they actually control the mobile device technically at a manufacturing level, and they do this little stupid trick saying, well, it's Taiwan, it's not us, it's all a sham. When AI comes into its full realization, here's what happens. Right now, we know if we say something that YouTube doesn't like because it's backed by Google, they're going to boot us. If we say something on X, because there's still bad people there in certain places, and they don't like it, they're going to boot it, or they're going to kick you off Facebook. Well, those are entities running roughshod over us. The entity doesn't like it. Well, see, that's about to disappear, and people don't understand. As soon as the data war gets perfected, if China wins, it won't matter anymore, because in cyberspace, how everything works and how it travels over the line, you'll never see it. So it basically will snatch all control away from X, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Rumble, you name it, even Getter, which doesn't really block this stuff, right? Great company.
No, yeah.
We'll never see it because it will be intercepted at the most highest level. It just won't happen. Now, that's already teed up in all of our mobile devices and all of our television sets. You have not seen the scale of suppression until this happens. Now, here's where people mess up. They use the same fear tactic that made us shut down. Here's how it works. The reason it's called the three-toed dragon, if you go back and look at China's culture, and you go back to their noble cultures when they were the five-toed dragon, who basically operated very simple, the five elements of the earth. Here it is, very spiritual, great people. But every succeeding conquering of the Chinese people by succeeding dynasties, this dynasty, say the four-toed dragon comes in, they wiped out everything historically about the five. Well, where we are right now in China's mythology is it's the three-toed dragon. It's basically where rogue factions took over. They no longer care about morals or whatever. It's about domination. So the three toes are actually claws, they're talons, they're weapons. And they go as follows. The first claw that they deploy is it reshapes what people believe is true. The second claw reshapes what people feelings is right. And then the third claw is it reshapes what people actually accept as law. This is the feelings, microaggression. This is why they had to do it. So what they do is they deploy these tactics. So when you mentioned Lindell's network and Mike Dillon, and he's going to profess about data centers, even though he's an air filter salesman, bless you, literally, he's going to tell you what you need to know about data centers when he knows nothing about them. Well, what happens is that's how the dragon hijacks us. Now, we studied this for a long time. When they came out that it's going to kill the water supply, and I'll give you some stats here in a moment, we watched one post, the very post that seeded data centers are bad. Well, it just happened that that post that started it, because you can track all these, came from, we'll just call it 150 organizations, all of them underwritten by China. Now, those 150 social media organizations used their social media accounts, and they started seeding this story. That's all they had to do is seed it, the talking point. That talking point took on a life of its own. And by the time the fear-mongering was done, when it first released, it was seen over 2 billion times around the globe. And when we tracked the whole campaign, because it's still dollars, when you track the whole campaign, it basically created about $800 million of advertising in favor of China's agenda. Now, here's how it works. In the online world, when you see a video pop up or you see an ad pop up, that's how the engine behind social media works. That company, if they're buying the ad, they're going to pay 5 cents for every eyeball that sees it, right? And it goes, and if you see it, then they're going to pay 5 cents to the Twitters or the Facebooks of the world. Well, what happens is this warfare works in a space called earned media. They make it look like a story, but it's really an advertorial for their political agenda. So they wrap it up where it sounds like research. They put it out from organizations that sound like research organizations, and everybody thinks it's news. Now, they get some of their allies to do it, bigger news companies, because it's an agenda to destroy America. But everybody out here, there's unintended consequences. There are people that are bad. There are fraudcasters, just like there are podcasters. Yep. And then there are agents for the system. When they pick this up and they see people watch it, oh my God, we're not going to be able to bathe. We're not going. My dogs are going to die from the metals. People, us, the American public goes, oh no, and we share it. Now, what we just did is we paid China's marketing fee.
Yeah,
that means China didn't have to buy it to reach the next 100 people. You did it for them because it was the right headline, the right fear, and you amplified it. And that's why I explained the psychology of its public opinion warfare, psychological warfare, and legal warfare. And China perfected getting our people upset to the point everybody would complain, the public would be turned, lawmakers trying to soothe the public would in turn write laws, and everything went to China. That's exactly what Marco Rubio just talked about, right? He just did a presentation. People talked about on his January 4th speech. He talked about, you got to understand this war, right? Our work came out simultaneously, Three-Toed Dragon, and then here's Rubio with July 4th explaining what this is. This is how China got us to shut U.S. manufacturing down and to ship millions of manufacturing jobs to China. This is how they actually got our own country not to use our own resources to ship it to them, which hurts our middle class. Destroy the middle class, you destroy everything. And what it did is it handed to China everything, and I mean everything. And this is done, by the way. They control our entire supply chain. And that is where we are. And this is, although it sounds doomsy, I'm just telling you the truth. If we lose this one, we're dead. And you can, if you do the numbers and you don't fearmonger, you understand it. Tucker Carlson, who sorry, but I don't trust anymore. But Tucker Carlson did an interview and he says, well, if data centers were so bad, why does China, if China's the bad guy, why do they have only 350? And America has, 5,200. Well, just so you know, when we had rotary phones, like 3410293, that's my phone number as a first grader. I can still remember it on the rotary phone, right? I can remember all my buddies' numbers and everything. But those numbers,
that's pretty impressive,
right? It's like Lily Tomlin. Remember when you hold on, I'll connect. Remember that connected? Well, that was a data center. People don't really know what a data center is. Well, when you used your AOL, and when you used your Comcast or CompuNet or any of those, well, it was all going through a data center. We've had data centers forever.
Sure.
We're having to expand data centers because we're leading in the expansion of content, but there's a catch. See, China didn't do data centers. China does very few. They took all of their resources and they built the first mega power plant in the world that will last 1,000 years. That's why they were using up steel and damming up their rivers and lakes, because they're driving massive power. Their power grid will last for hundreds of years and will support the future. Now, and they bought 350 data centers. They restrict data for their people. America, we got 5,000 data centers, but our power grid had its last major overhaul 55 years ago. We are predominantly across America operating on an 80-year-old power grid.
And by the way,
we didn't have color TV.
Yeah.
Same grid operating all this in the U.S.
People have to realize that China, in many ways, controls our power grid. If our grid were to go down,
yes,
and China didn't want to supply rare earth minerals,
right,
transformers,
we're done.
We're done. We're back in. And how we allowed this to happen, and it's our fault. Let's just be honest.
Well, it's a paid con, but it's our fault as citizens not digging, not
Yes.
inspecting, not auditing, and we got conned.
Yep, 100%, 100%. Can you go into the EMF footprint? You laid that out brilliantly, because that's the big thing. Oh well, there's a humming, and I have Bitcoin miners, right?
Yes.
They're very loud and they draw a lot of heat.
Yes.
They're perfect in the wintertime.
Yes.
You can heat your whole house,
Yes.
right? But there's a difference between that and and per se like a data center.
Well, let's face it. If you've ever sat on a couch, watch TV, have your laptop open at the same time, and you're doing something, that laptop can get pretty damn hot.
Yeah.
Right. So we know this is a phenomenon in equipment. Let me go backwards for a moment in order to take you forward. In the rare earth minerals, which got shut down here in the United States, it's not only that drives electronics, it drives the power grid. So China did a few sneaky things, always by using fear mongering. Remember when 20 years ago, there was this panic about drones. You're going to have a drone. We're going to fly into planes. You're not going to have piracy. Well, we were the leaders in drones in the world, United States of America. China came in and did a campaign convincing America drones were bad, that you need to have a license and it needs to be registered. Our government enacted manufacturing issues and legal issues that subject anybody who buys a certain type of drone or whatever has to be licensed through the American government. And then all manufacturing rushed overseas. Well, China got the manufacturing, including a lot of our stuff on our military drones. Well, that licensing thing, here's what the real play was. Power companies, we have millions of miles of power all throughout the country between, individual lines, multiple lines, underground lines, etc. It's just all over the place. It's the spaghetti that wires our nation. Well, there was a distinct advantage when it came to inspecting power poles and power lines, that if a guy who used to climb the pole and go look, have to walk through the woods, if they can just fly a drone and look at it for maintenance. But see, America outlawed it. That registration to get that license goes through Beijing. That video server that bounces it and moves it around runs through Beijing. So under the last 20 years, the government didn't pay attention to it. The Obama administration didn't pay any attention to it or whatever. China has mapped our entire power grid. I'm talking every single space of our power. Now, when you have that type of information, you can find out that there's a particular place in the United States that if you took a 40-foot piece of chain and a few drones and you just dropped it over this set of power lines, it will take out Southern California. But more importantly, it will terminally melt the transformers. Those transformers, because we can't mine rare earth, come exclusively from China because it's going to kill the environment. They manufacture them. It takes them 3 years to deliver one. Now, let's say they did that scenario. Is LA going to be without power? No. The first thing they do is they switch our grid and start pulling it from other areas. What does it do? It starts burning up the grid. That is the scenario we're in. Now, they use fear mongering to do it. That they use rare earth. Oh, you're going to get hit in the head by the drone. Somebody's going to see you, walking naked in the forest, all that BS, right? Any fear they could do. They're going to follow your kids home from school. That's how they use fear, the three-pronged dragon. And it's the three-pronged, public opinion, psychological warfare, and they wrote laws. Well, now where we are in this with the data centers, they're using stuff like EMF. Well, the EMF of a data rack in a data center, that invisible force field of EMF, will travel about 3 inches. But you, the American consumer, worry about those big old power lines across the United States, and you can hear them buzz or crackle or whatever, and those big Almatron arms, metal arms and stuff. That's EMF. Now, that EMF will travel a mile. So let me get this right. Let's just use EMF to convince people data centers are bad. They'll shut down data centers because they did nothing about the power lines. No, all it does is shut down power centers. And we have 75,000 connective substations in the United States of America right now that if you want to go look to where everything's fried, they're done. We did it a long time ago, and there's 75,000 of them in play right now. But that's where they rely on alarmism, doom scrolling, and they get people that think they're a broadcaster. You're going to get EMF, and your child are going to have 3 eyes, and it's all psychological warfare for the dragon to finally conquer America by getting us to commit suicide.
And the reality of it is you get the clickbaiters out there. They really don't know what they're talking about.
Not at all.
They're just looking for views.
That's
so
right.
They can get in that algorithm.
And then they think they're important because, wow, I had 1,000 people watch it.
They become useful idiots. I mean, it sounds
They
horrible.
become the pawns for the dragon. They actually become foot soldiers for the very thing they claim they're fighting against.
Disturbing.
It's disturbing.
It's disturbing.
We don't check anymore. We don't dig. We don't look, right? Look, we found out that media was a rig. It's total BS. That's why you can have 100 different TV stations, 5 different group owners, but the newscasters say the same thing at the beginning. It's a threat to our democracy. The same thing happened over here in social media and every place. You just think, well, I'm not a mainstream, so it must be right. Do you think evil people are stupid enough? Oh, dang, they're not going to watch us on TV. I guess we're done. Hell no. They're 100 steps ahead of you, and they were already cultivating patriots and podcasters and broadcasters and speakers because they knew this shift was coming before you did, and they had them implanted, and they built them up. And that's why you can see something like a Candace or a Tucker happen, and you go, where the hell did that come from? It was part of the plan.
I mean, it's amazing when you lay it out that way. I don't think most people, because like you said, we live in a world where everything is instant, right? And the doom scrolling, and people just get sucked into that world.
I think, we
don't want to think for ourselves.
For me, let me tell you this, because I'll explain it, and I'll explain my weird brain, because I'm the first one to admit I'm wackadoodle, right? I am so far mind out there than most stuff, but it's not like you think. I don't go around talking to trees and rocks and frogs. My childhood isolated me quite a bit, so all I had was my creative mind. The way I parlayed my intellectual skills is being able to understand trends, data, what's going on and what's happening. And I found at a very young age, I got recruited very young, that, wow, this kid can see things we never saw coming. And so I kind of got recruited into it. And I'm literally looking at things and trends where if you were to think of them on an economic scale, they're really only moving dimes and quarters. But I can see, holy crap, they moved $40 million. Get it? And so as I learned to apply my particular talents in the corporate world, etc., of course, I move into intellectual property, patents. Well, in patents, you've got to really have the gift to see where the future's going. That's it. You can, right? Oh, I got a good idea. What if I could send a photo through a phone and I could put dog ears on it? Well, could you do that today? No. You got to see that stuff's coming.
Yeah.
So I'm trained to look at massive amounts of data to see what's going to happen, what got missed, how could it hurt us, how could it help us. Now, I've practiced that craft for 37 years now. In the patent world, there's about 11,800,000 patents out there. Out of 11,800,000 patents around the world, about 1.65% of those patents ever get really monetized, ever get really used and benefit mankind. Well, 95% of my work is in that 1.65% because I really understand how to do it. I'll give you an example. Most people know I created Scan to Connect, Scan Commerce Platform. That's the codes. You see them as Q codes or barcodes. You can scan them with your phone and do it. When I first created that, Mark Cuban came out and said it's the stupidest invention ever. He got pissed off because one big investor didn't go with him and went with me. Okay, we all went through the dot-com crush and stuff, and that little stupid idea about, well, people don't want to type. They just poop and they want to get there, which you do now. You do on your tickets. You do when you go through your airlines. You know, it's habit now. Well, that stupid little thing is on 20 billion mobile devices around the world now, and it is used 2.7 billion times a day. That's my forte. It's only where is it, what's really going on, and you got to understand both sides. You got to understand how can this be used for benefit, and where is it going to be attacked and used to hurt us. This is what enables me to see these stupid little moves, these stupid little things, and go, wait a minute, let's just go back to this email we got, and it's all keyword. You don't have to keyword if, in fact, it's something going to affect people. You just got to have facts, and I believe you got to bring the facts. If you start peeling it back by layers, you start to see the trends for what they really are. It is, they're trying to make us do something. They're trying to sell us something, and then you go to the next step. And it's a really simple step. Prove it. Okay, my water's brown. Show me. Well, I saw it on the internet. You track that video down. Well, I saw this person. It's like they were dropping ticks from the sky. Here's the box. I took that video where everybody's talking about ticks going to make you not like me to the very first video. The box that supposedly the guy said got dropped by a helicopter, and he put in his little thing. Well, the helicopter was from a whole different shot, not that. It was put together. The box was actually a pumpernickel loaf box that you cook pumpernickel in, because they have a sliding top, because it's caramelized slow, and I love pumpernickel. And when he turned it over, look at all these ticks. I analyzed the footage, put it through all the forensics looking at, just like I did the ballots, and it's ants. But that's not what was coming out of his mouth. Now, he evidently wanted something to make him look cool and hip and look at this and it go viral. But it was ants in a pumpernickel box that somehow was out in a field that somebody tossed away. And of course, the ants are going to get in and eat the bread. And by the way, pumpernickel will last 50 years on the shelf, FYI, and that's why they were in there. Well, we never question these things. We never look. And so you can see this phenomenon, but the words are about something else. And that alarms me. And when I see these things, I understand what's going on. Somebody's driving an agenda. It's just like in elections. If we keep on squealing about the machines, you got to understand rule of law. The machines' guidelines are all voluntary. That's why they can say, oh, it was a glitch. Oh, it was a boo-boo. You cannot convict any conviction, state, local, national, federal, never, on the machines. But if you screw with the paper, which is the ballot, 96, it almost guarantees 98% convictions. Why? Because it's the physical paper. It needs physical evidence. This works in so many categories it is. And so my particular gift of my weirdo-ness, and that's why I say you got to forgive me. I'm a nerd hiding out in a biker's body. I have no idea why God gave me a face that makes it look like I want to beat your ass. I just want to teach your ass, right? But, you know, I don't know what it is. Make me intimidating? I don't know. But we're in trouble. And we're in trouble because we don't want to be enslaved. We don't want to be controlled. We want to maintain our freedom and liberty. And here's the thing. We are already enslaved. We are already controlled. And what we now define as freedom and liberty is not freedom and liberty. And we're at that crossroads that it's data centers. A lot of things can harm us. But if we lose that, and I put data center and AI together, if we lose that, boy, we will never see truth or history or facts again. And that terrifies me, because the one culture in the world that changes everything is that Chinese culture. I'll give you an example. You know, I do exploration. I've done exploration all around the world. I always wanted to be able to work and do work in China, because most people don't know China has more pyramids than Egypt.
Wow.
Did you know that?
I did not, but
no. And
I do now.
in the original five-toed dragon Grand Emperor's tomb, in ancient books, it basically talks about, you can walk in this tomb and you can look up, and it has maps of the stars, and it has maps on the ground, which actually have rivers made out of mercury, so it looks like water. And this is his grand tomb. Well, they always said that that was a map of the world. Okay? Now, as we go through time, somebody found an ancient, and I wanted to go find that tomb because I'm looking at stuff that shouldn't be there, right? And I actually know how advanced they were, and it was a great civilization. Communism came in when the country had about 1 billion people, and it was actually 416 students that ushered in communism for a country of 1 billion people. They use the same tactics today to take over. Anyway, I'm chasing this thing, and I come across a map that got found in Korea, of all places. Now, this map, it looks like a weird globe, not like anything you've ever seen. But if you understand the formations of the continent line, you look down, you're going, wow, I'm looking down at Earth from the perspective of just about where North Korea is and China. And you kind of go, oh, okay, I recognize this. That map on it has what we now know as the United States of America. It has our mountain ranges, our rivers, which way they flow, and it's down to an accuracy of 20 feet.
That's
now,
insane.
When GPS first came out, our accuracy was about 100 feet. That means they walked all these continents and they mapped them. Well, that was forbidden and shunned. And so China wiped all of that out, the succeeding dynasties. That's how much have been lost. Wiped it all out. And so that's what scares me. And I'll tell you how good China used to be. And true story, but it got suppressed. China sent over large vessels. They had floating cities that were as big as our aircraft carriers, and they would circumnavigate the globe. True story will sound like a fairy tale, but it's true. A Chinese prince literally came to the Americas and started going through the Indian nations. And he was deciding who he liked and whatever. And he decided, I'm going to subjugate these people. He released smallpox.
Ooh.
China had already dealt with it. The United States hadn't. And he wiped out millions. There used to be on the Ohio River huge rock formations, and they had the four-toed dragon carved into the side of these rocks. Our government blew it up to hide it. Now, when his father found out what he did, right, because he's an old dynasty guy, horseshit, bullshit, this is not how you become a prince. You don't do this to people. He literally imprisoned his son, and they erased him from existence. Now, that's why you don't know the story here in the Americas. It's also why you didn't learn the stories in the ancient Chinese culture, because when the succeeding dynasty took over, because it was about bullshit rulers, they wiped it all out. And it's very hard to find today, but we can find some of these pieces. I happen to collect multi-thousand-year-old artifacts that tell these stories. The reason I say that, here's where we are. Just put it in modern times. If China, because their power grid can support it, if our grid goes down, it doesn't matter where your server is right now in the United States of America. In order to operate, it's going to have to hop to China data centers to operate, which means they're going to be the direct pipeline for every piece of information that not only feeds the United States of America, but feeds the globe.
All right, Jovan, we got 3 minutes till the show closes. Tell everybody where they can find it. 1 hour is not enough with Jovan. It's just not enough.
I publish my books on the Amazon platform because Amazon bought up the best system to do hardbound books. I like hardbound books, right? I want you to have it in your hand and collect
Absolutely,
it. Absolutely, yeah. I don't like paperbacks. I'm maybe it's my OCD. I don't like the curled paper, right? I got to flatten the book back out. Anyway, and so I use that system so we can move nimble and fast. So I publish on Amazon. The book is called The Three-Toed Dragon. Three-Toed Dragon. Just use Three-Toed Dragon on Amazon with my last name and do a search. You will find it. There's hardback, there's paperback, and there's ebook, because we got to get this message out. This is not only something you should have in your community and learn. This is something you need to send your lawmakers, because lawmakers are being trained get rid of data centers, it's bad, or do a moratorium. And if we stand down, it's over. We're going to get caught in the same triangle they use. I give you 10 ways they did it in the past. You'll recognize it when you see it. I give you all the stats on the cities and water and all this other stuff. You're going to be amazed when you really look at the numbers. It's a con. We're trapped in the con, and they're using us to kill us. And if we're going to fight it, it's knowledge first, getting the right information out, and understand that the three-toed dragon is behind it all.
Awesome. Go get Jovan's book today. Follow him on Getter, X, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. His show is absolutely amazing. You're going to love the opening. It makes me laugh every time. With that being said, again, remember, Alex Duncan will be here filling in next Saturday.
I'm always pleased when other broadcasters and podcasters really want to dive in and get truth. Carl's one of the one I found that just really wants to know the answers and get the truth and back it up to facts. I'm telling you that if we're going to win any of this, whether it's election integrity or whatever the case may be, we've got to deal with facts. And if we don't deal with facts, we're going to get clobbered. It's that simple. When you understand what the three-toed dragon has done to us, then you understand how critical this fight is. You always ask, what can you do? How can I fix this? How can I help? This is a book, folks, I would recommend. If you want to take a proactive step, send this book, get online, but get the address for your congressman, your senator, whatever it is, send them a copy. Get it to their book, get it to their people, to their offices. It's hardcore facts, the actual facts of all of these claims broken down by the 10 major cities that are in question. I give you all the details to arm yourself, folks. And the deal is you have to arm yourself with truth. You've got to arm yourself with facts. And this is where this is up to you to instruct your lawmakers. Remember, they work for us. It's up to us to instruct them. Get the book, get informed, send it to your lawmakers, get it to people that are pushing back so they understand what the war is and how they've possibly been hijacked, and they're actually bringing about American demise. Share this program. I love you all.
Are data centers going to destroy America? Will data centers and artificial intelligence rob our water supplies? Will it drive up our energy costs? What's fact? What's fiction? Here is the truth no one talks about. America must win the AI data center war or surrender the future to the great dragon. Award-winning, 4-time best-selling author, technology pioneer and futurist, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer presents the definitive manual for winning this war against China, the three-toed dragon. Communist China's secret war to end American AI and data centers. China's relentless drive for AI dominance is no longer a distant threat. Through massive state-backed infrastructure, voracious energy consumption, and strategic control of global supply chains, the CCP is building an unstoppable technological empire. While America debates policy, China executes. This is not another tech trend. It is the decisive battlefield of the 21st century where data centers, power generation, cooling systems, and sovereign energy infrastructure will determine who controls intelligence, economic supremacy, and national security. This fact book, guidebook, handbook, and war plan cuts through the noise with meticulously researched intelligence on the hidden realities of AI data center demands. Exploding power requirements, industrial-scale water usage, heat island effects, liquid cooling breakthroughs, hydrogen and off-grid solutions, semiconductor vulnerabilities, and the strategic choke points China already exploits. It delivers actionable blueprints for American victory from policy recommendations and energy independence strategies to practical deployment models for rural and sovereign systems that bypass fragile grids and foreign dependencies. For patriots, policymakers, energy entrepreneurs, technologists, and every citizen who refuses to live under digital authoritarianism, this is the essential field manual. America still holds the innovation edge, the resource base, and the will, but only if we act with urgency and clarity. The great dragon is moving at full speed. The time to seize victory in the AI data center war is now. Available on Amazon, hardbound, paperback, and ebook. Read it. Arm yourself. Win. Is technology killing our children? Are we inadvertently tuning our precious children and grandchildren into killers? The Gollum effect is real and it is stealing our children. Award-winning, 4-time best-selling author, technology pioneer and futurist, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer presents the definitive manual saving your children, grandchildren, and all future children from the Gollum effect. Precious pixels. Deadly devices, how the digital and social era is creating killer kids. The Gollum effect is real, and it is stealing our children. The Gollum effect is not fiction or exaggeration. It is the quiet, relentless transformation happening in homes, schools, and bedrooms across our nation. Just as Smeagol became the hollow, obsessive Gollum clutching his precious ring, our children are being consumed by screens, algorithms, and digital validation that promise connection but deliver isolation, anxiety, fractured attention, and distorted identities. We see it in the toddler who tantrums without a tablet, the teen who cannot hold a conversation without checking notifications, and the young adult adrift in comparison and purposeless scrolling. As parents and as a nation, we must name this enemy clearly. It is not neutral technology. It is a powerful force engineered for addiction that preys on developing brains, eroding the very qualities our children need most. Deep focus, real relationships, resilience, creativity, and a secure sense of self. Ignoring it or downplaying it has already cost us dearly. Our most precious commodity, our children, our future, is at stake, and the time for complacency is over. We must know the enemy in this battle and be willing to face them head-on. To win this battle, we must first know the enemy, and then face it with courage and strategy. The Gollum effect thrives on convenience, normalization, and profit-driven design that exploits boredom, fear of missing out, and the human need for connection. It hollows out childhood through endless stimulation while starving young minds of unstructured play, nature, hands-on mastery, and undivided attention from loving adults. Facing it means rejecting the lie that everyone is doing it, or that screens are harmless entertainment. It requires intentional action, delaying personal devices, creating tech-free zones and rhythms, prioritizing outdoor adventures and real-world skills, teaching critical thinking about algorithms and comparison, and modeling presence ourselves. Parents, educators, extended family, faith communities, and mental health professionals all have vital roles. The good news is that practical, proven strategies exist, from family media audits and screen-free weeks to rich offline learning, spiritual formation, and accountability partnerships. We do not have to fight alone. When we name the threat and choose presence over convenience, we begin reclaiming the minds and hearts of our children. We can win this battle and save our future, but you must have a solid knowledge base and the tools needed to win. We can win this battle, and we must, for the sake of our children and the soul of our nation. Every family that implements device curfews and real-world adventures, every classroom that goes phone-free during learning, every faith community that forms identity in something eternal, and every young person who chooses accountability and purpose strikes a blow against the Gollum effect. Victory looks like children who play creatively for hours, teens who build deep friendships and meaningful skills offline, and young adults who enter life with focus, resilience, and hope. It looks like families eating together undistracted, laughing, and truly knowing one another. The battle is winnable because human beings were made for more than pixels. We were made for wonder, relationship, creation, and contribution. Our children are worth every uncomfortable choice, every boundary, and every redirected hour. Let this be our rallying cry. We see the enemy, we know how to fight it, and we will not surrender the minds and futures of our most precious gift. Together, as parents and as people, We can break the hold of the Gollum effect and raise a generation that is truly free, present, purposeful, and full of life. Available on Amazon, hardbound, paperback, and ebook. Order now. The time to act is now. Our children are counting on us.